What's going on, guys? Dylan here. Today we'll get to a ticker symbol analysis on the ticker symbol PLTR. Since breaking out of this cup and handle structure, we have set a $150 price target over on the channel, but it does appear that we have more room to give than $150. Stock price is currently around 67% away from the $150 range, but it does appear to have more in the tank. But with that being said, we're completely unbiased. Go start our analysis over on the weekly. Over the last few weeks on Palantir weekly time frame, there's really only been a couple things we got to keep in mind, and these still do apply to as of now. Right, stock price had this very obvious top outside, being around that early 2025 region where we had this obvious blowout top. Stock price knife down, entering this consolidation. Since breaking to the upside, we mentioned we had a 1 and 2 week pause before getting eaten up this nice big wick, signifying that sellers are trapped within this region, right? As they're targeting this double top, right? It's cleared 1, 2, reversal, setting stop loss below these highs, targeting somewhere down here. Well, they did not get that, guys. Stock price continued to ascend, really just grinding up higher, being quite disciplined. And now we're starting to take off from this slow grind up, being a very euphoric movement to the upside. So, as of now, guys, we're continuing to see these wicks ascend, being that whenever stock price dips, even being in this high fear area, right, we still come down to get bought up. So that's just a lot of bullish divergence sign. We mentioned it in the last video. We're seeing this very nice bullish engulfing, guys, eating up one candlestick body bar and another. You only need one for it to be a bullish engulfing pattern, but we have two, which makes it that much more bullish. So this can lead to around 1 to 2 weeks, if not more, of continuation to the upside. As of now, we're currently seeing that play out. So within the current candle structure, this is an inverted hammer candle, which is a bearish candle within nature, right? Being maybe a little bit overextended in the short-term analysis, but it only is Monday, so we have more time for this candle to fill out and give it structure. So we won't pay attention to this as this is still in the liquid moment conversation, being that this is Monday as of now, guys. So with that being said, really all we want to see stock do is continue this trend of setting these higher lows and highs, guys. Even if we have a little bit of a micro pullback back down to this region, right, around the $133 range, stock price still looks very primed and good. So with that being said, on the weekly analysis, it's hard to remain any other stance than bullish. Over the last few weeks, Palantir is at a very clear resistance level where stock price has been halted at for around a week in price action over the last couple of weeks, right? When we initially broke out of this massive cup and handle, which we do have on the daily time frame, which is why we initially started to cover Palantir, right? You get this very big movement to the downside. Sellers are in control before buyers pick it back up, right? Meeting over to the top where we previously had that drop off right over here. This being the neckline formation at $125 range. Stock price did get the breakout of this handle, momentarily holding below before entering this consolidation, breaking right over the top, and we rejected at that same moment, which we did on the handle breakout, right? 1, 2, 3, 4 days, flip red, and we momentarily knifed below this neckline formation. We mentioned how this is very time sensitive, guys, within this region. If we could curl right back over this red box, being this neckline breakout formation, which can lead us to these $150 levels, which we did set the price target for, as you see an obvious 50% retracement to the top being that exact $150 price target. We mentioned down here, guys, we need to see the flipping trend. If we can flip right back up and get over this neckline, this is where you see these short sellers get trapped out of their position as they try to enter with a false breakdown, a crescendo into breaking this neckline. Where will those stop losses be? We mentioned right above this red box. What do you see? Stock price immediately flip, reverse. We came on here, guys, and gave you an update as once we get over this, there's a lot of upside potential, guys. As you have all these guys getting out of their short position, squeezing stock higher, and new buyers emerging within the market. We did see 1, 2, 3, 4 green candles in a row, paused by a little pause, and 1, 2. So really, since then, guys, we've been very right. We had a very good read on that. Stock prices rose a pretty dramatic amount. So as of now, in a very short-term analysis, really the meat and potatoes is that $133 level, as we mentioned in the last video. Anyone trading over this level, being that we did get knocked out a couple times previously, and now we're holding as support. As long as we hold the support, guys, stock price looks very nice. It can do anything. It could sit around and shop and do anything of the sorts, and it is bullish. We did see a quick movement to the upside after testing $140 1 and 2 times. Now we're holding that on the daily analysis. So To keep it really simple, guys, within this standpoint, once again, right, we already broke out from this neckline being this red box, which we've continued to mention over the last few weeks. As of now, we just want to keep an eye on these big support levels. So 140 bucks from a very short-term perspective is the area where stock price, if we do drop that, guys, it is likely that we do come down and test this ascending support line or this $133 level. And we'll continue to have that stance, guys. Is really anything above this $133 level, even if stock price does pull back down, it is still very, very bullish, as we can use this as, once again, a higher low to move up higher, guys. So it does appear that we will test $140, being we have an inverted hammer candle, rejecting that psychological $145 level. So if you follow Palantir from a very, very short-term analysis, keep an eye on 140 bucks, but keep in mind, even if we do break that, guys, right, this level which we based at and are holding right now, even if we break that, once again, we still have very, very strong support levels here and here, guys. So definitely looking like a pretty comfortable position for the buyers. I do not believe this is the point in time to sell. There does appear to be more upside to occur, and that $150 price target is looking more and more and more realistic as the candles continue to play out. Let's go hop over to the hourly analysis. On the hourly analysis, guys, you see that perfect red to green reversal in these times where a lot of people, a lot of beginner traders would get flushed out of their position, guys. We immediately bounced on that 120 buck support level, and since then we immediately flipped red to green as we suspected, and you just see stock price be very, very strong, guys. You're approaching this level, breaking over it, testing it, bouncing, entering consolidation pocket, right, coming down once again for the break and retest and moving up higher, rejecting 140 bucks one more time, gapping over, and now we're currently holding that. So looking on the hourly analysis, guys, we don't have a ton of candles to work with, so we don't want to overanalyze stuff we don't need to, as the best traders know when to really just sit back and be comfortable and let stock ride out when more data points arise. As of now, we have seen the obvious wick out at this rough area really being that 143.50. If we can get back up and curl above this resistance level from a short-term perspective, should be able to reapproach 145 bucks. If that is broken, we are going to test 150 bucks. But as of now, looking on the hourly analysis, it would make sense for a little bit of a pull down to test that $140 region again, or this ascending blue support, or this $103 level. Notice how we have multiple different data points where stock can bounce on and move higher, right? Bounce on and move higher. We have a lot of spots, guys. So it's a pretty comfortable position for Palantir. Once again, reciting to the daily, really anywhere above this major level, which we mentioned in the past, right? As you've seen the big retest when we mentioned it over here and bounce, stock price looks good, man. There's no need to overcomplicate these things in a short-term analysis. It's really as simple as that. We're continuing to rise into that $150 psychological level. Keep an eye on these former resistance levels, 140 and 133, which were previous resistance levels, now turned support, guys. So if we come down to these regions, watch these to be a bounce area. There is a potential we do just continue to rise, hit the 150 bucks in the next few days, and there we go, guys. Keep in mind as well, if we break $150, guys, there is a lot of upside potential. There's a lot of upside potential, as when you break these massive psychological regions, they offer a ton of support and resistance marker points, right? And we look in the past at 100 bucks being marked up right here. We had a big time gap up. We came down and bounced off that for 1, 2, 3 days, rising all the way to the next major psychological level being 125 bucks, guys. It's really cool this stuff works. We come right down to 100 bucks. We try to hold it for 1, 2 days, entering this downfall into consolidation. We break back over $100, and you see the upside, guys, right back to 125. So if we break 150 bucks, we're likely to see this trend continue, where these psychological levels, once broken, give a lot of upside potential. So although we do have a $150 price target on Palantir, really wouldn't surprise me if this thing just continues to be a rock star and break out. It's really cool to see, guys, because I do remember flipping to the monthly in this pocket, guys, when it initially IPO'd, it had a lot of hype, broke this descending channel, and it just kind of faded off. A lot of sellers were entering this position, and I remember in the $6, $7, $8 region. And it's just really cool to see stock price come back to life, as a lot of these stocks back in that 2020, 2021 region, which did have this harsh correction, they never came back. So to see Palantir be a rock star is pretty cool, man. But with that being said, guys, if you found any value, consider dropping a sub, guys, and we'll continue to cover Palantir as it's transpired. Live price action updates But with that being said, guys, have a good day. Take care and peace.